So we're in the process of transferring all of our modular buildings over to our take on the MILS concept. And what we've done is converted the last four modulars. This is the Tudor Corner, we got the Jazz Club, we got the museum, and we got the Boutique Hotel. Now that we've converted these four, before I keep going, I want to kind of take stock where we're at. As I've shown in some previous videos, converting to, we think of MILS a little bit differently than a lot of other people do in terms of how high it should go and how it should interact with what we do for roads. So, and then there's some other things like curb cuts, some things on the sidewalk that we change too. Now that I've done four of them and I see this all together, there's some things I like, there's some things I don't like. So let's go take a look.
Now, the foundations themselves are great. They don't look like much, but they're serving their purpose. Got to keep in mind, with the road system that we're going to be using, nobody's going to see that bottom layer that's all discolored. It allows me a chance to just use random parts that I have laying around. And as you see, when we put a road up against these buildings, you're never going to see that underlying foundation. Now, one reason I use those Technic bricks, as you see, in all of our mills to be consistent. Number one, chance to connect them together if possible. But more important, there will be some buildings that are on the outside of the layout so the underlying foundation is going to be exposed. There won't be a road there to cover it up. In this case, you can use just these couple of Technic pins here and a couple of plates and connect it like this. Then you can kind of cover up that foundation and create a nice border. The idea, this would be what you would put around the outside of your city where you do not have roads to cover up the MILS foundation. Another thing that I didn't like is I'd went ahead and designed a crosswalk in on each modular, and I did it in the right side of it. Even the ones that were not corners, okay? After looking at that again, I think I've just put too many crosswalks on this block. I don't think we need one every block. The other thing with the crosswalks I didn't realize until I had kind of put a few of them together and started thinking about it. But let's say if I've got the museum and the jazz club across the street from one another and they're sitting like this, well, if the crosswalk's on the right side on all of them, that they're not going to be across the street from each other. So again, between that and also realizing we just had too many crosswalks, I think on these modulars that are not corners, like the Jazz Club, I don't think, it's just a little bit too much. I don't think we need this crosswalk, although I do like the look. The other thing I want to improve on is this plate. I would like to be flat going to the road, and maybe we can look at something that creates an angle. Again, just after seeing a few of these, just not liking how that looks. So back to the drawing board. So I went and got some slanted grill pieces in yellow like this. And I thought, how about we explore this for our curb cut instead of those plates I just shown you. So went and built a template, which you can see here. And there's an orange one there only because I did not have enough yellow. But in building that into the curb, I thought, let's see what that looks like. And I do like that look a lot better than that initial plate look that I had shown you. A couple other things with this template. Again, I like that. Also, this brings the curb back even with the sidewalk. And by doing that, the curb's only going to be one tile above the road. Now let's put the road piece in place here and you get a better feel for how this might look. I'm going to line up so yeah, this slanted curb cut on the sidewalk. I think that creates a very nice, there is just a little bit of a lip there on the bottom. Again, I'll show you it doesn't go flush to the bottom, but it's close enough so that, you know, it still is much better than what was there before. And then you can see the curb. The only thing, if we do it this way, again, I like the look of the crosswalk. We're going to give up having the kind of two plate or the tile or the plate plus tile look that we'd had along the road. I did, again, hate giving that up because there were some things like with some drains I thought about doing. I did build a second template here. That is the same thing as that, only raises everything one more tile. Okay, so we could keep like little hole there for a drain in the road. Problem though, if we would do it this way, again, that curb is flat there. You got to take this whole, the whole plate has to come up one, which means that's as much more pieces that you got to build into the frame of the mills. And the other thing that would cause a problem, okay, so in the way this is structured, to keep the sidewalk and the curb flush, okay, this gray tile that you're seeing, that is, I'm sorry, excuse me. So this is the gray tile, and this plate underneath it. This plate has to be gray. All right. That is also the plate that is serving as the underlayment for all of these tiles here. So color wasn't going to be an issue before, but since this is one plate higher, this is going to be exposed. So we would have to make sure that there was gray plates used here, and you can see it here. You're going to have to go all gray all the way around. And in general, it was going to kind of cut into what we had really wanted to do, which was have the flexibility just to use any kind of plate there. Something else too that, you know, happened to be able to build into the frame little things like this, you know, it was, and this is one of the reasons I did the template, and hopefully you can see it. You can't really see it here very well with how I've got this built, but there was going to be a lot of extra pieces we had to build in underneath here to be able to do the support for this kind of thing. And it was just, it was kind of getting away from, you know, we were already using some extra pieces to build up the mills, but we're going to have to look at a lot of specialty pieces, even to be able to, you know, you get into here and there's some, again, like I said, to build those angles and all that, it was getting even more cost prohibitive than mills already were. The other thing too, to keep in mind, by giving up that kind of double curb, you know, I like the look, but functionally, you know, we were giving up that drain, but I don't think we were giving up much else. So just between the cost and the complexity of being able to build everything up and having to worry more about color, we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep everything to the original height that we had talked about. The trick, though, is, you know, to be able to get these slanted grates in here like this, we do have to kind of dig out and rebuild these corners a little bit, which really isn't that big a deal because we built these on these was a corner anyway. We had built special because we'd built in these special curbs here. So not going to be that big a deal. Just got to, like I said, get in there, and it's really not adding. We've already added a few pieces because having to have the corner there curved like that. It's really not going to add that much. But bottom line, I think we've got a better look here overall for what we're trying to do with these mills plates, with going with this more of a ramp, and it's yellow, so it still is going to stick out. Again, I'm going to replace that orange one. And I think the only drawback for me, I've got the pieces to be able to do it this way, except for I don't have quite enough of these to carry it through the city. But this is something I'll be heading to either Bricklink or Lego.com and just ordering a few to be able to make it work. Now here is the boutique hotel with that reimagined curb cut for the sidewalk. Love to hear what you guys think about this while I go get some more yellow grates to be able to transfer more of our modulars to this.